I'm playing video games for many years, but I can tell you for 100% there was one turning point, one place in time that was a turning point for me that led me to play games that I consider now the best game that I ever played. And until that point, if I haven't made a certain choice, I wouldn't have played any single one of them. Now that point was in 2022 when I decided and actually stick with it to play Elden Ring. Now at that point it was like I'm not touching difficult games, and by saying difficult games I'm talking about Souls games, even roguelike games. I just didn't touch them. Maybe some of that to some degree that considerable playable for me I did, but in most situations I wouldn't just play any of these games. I just ruled them out straight from the get-go. And even when I play Elden Ring, it was like the moment where, well, I'm gonna stop now, I mean I had enough, or I'm just gonna push it a bit more, maybe it will be better. And there was a specific moment early in the game where just fighting a single enemy that I told myself, well, I mean a single cheap enemy, yeah? And eventually I realized, well, I know how it goes, I'm feeling it, and from that point moment, everything changed for me. And since then, of course, I play so many other games that, again, as I mentioned, I consider the best game that I ever played. And these are considered, again, relatively to be very challenging games. But once you get into that point where you understand certain things and you change something also in your mentality, in the way you approach games mentally, those games aren't as challenging as they first were. They still pose challenge, of course, but the one thing that causes you just to, maybe rage quit or not playing them at all are long gone. So you see, when it comes to challenging games, before that I got to a kind of boiling point where I have like this frustration overflow where I just couldn't carry anymore and it just stopped. Because I'm playing games to have fun. Why actually need to put myself in a situation where I'm actually getting that frustrated? I don't see it as fun. Little I know, there is some learning curve for each game, even after you, of course, you learn playing, some of the fundamentals when it comes to Souls game, like not rolling like crazy and, all the other stuff. Because what gives you the motivation to push through is that there's going to be something very satisfying waiting for you after you were able to conquer a challenge, a very tough challenge. But the thing is with many Souls games, for example, Soulsborne games, Soulslike games, that are exciting because they just bring the beautiful dark fantasy environment and atmosphere. Some of these games are designed by just developers that are just making such amazing games like no other. From Software, for example, with Elden Ring, I mean, it's just a beautifully designed open world, so enigmatic, so mysterious, and the open world design is just the best there is. Until now, there wasn't any single other open world game that actually can triumph this game. Now, of course, we've seen in the past many times where people show the frustration and give negative reviews to games that they don't expect to be difficult, but they feel they're just too difficult, or sometimes even games that are known to be difficult. Some people see them as kind of maybe overtuned. But in general, when games are expected to be difficult, to be challenging, people see them as such. And of course, you're going to see here and there people complaining about games being very difficult because they really want to enjoy them, because they see something and say, I want to play this game, looks amazing. But again, it comes with a challenge. It's bundled with a very high learning curve, at least if you're not used to it. But in general, it's expected. For example, Souls game, you don't expect them to be, easy. So, everything kind of balances itself out when it comes also to reviews. It's not like going to be ranked low because it's a very challenging game. This is why also these games are kind of acceptable, of course. It's not something that, people say, right, this is just too hard. Why people even playing this game? It's part of the experience itself. And after I finished playing Elden Ring, I came and played so many other games. They were just listed out. All of them, of course, were released already, but I just went to play them. I had so much fun. Like Returnal, for example, on the PlayStation 5. Again, I told myself I will never play it. I played it and I had such a blast time playing it. But not all of them. Like, for example, Hollow Knight was for me more challenging. But it wasn't into a degree that I told myself, well, this is just too much for me. So I played Hollow Knight, of course, before actually I played Elden Ring, which was kind of acceptable when it comes to difficulty. But it was really kind of, edgy on the border for me, like, maybe I should quit, maybe not. Eventually I was able to continue and finish the game. And Silksong, for example, I see it as a very challenging game. Some parts of this game are more challenging than any Souls game that I played before. It's a very challenging Metroidvania game that you need to really get used to the controls. But once you get used to it and you get into it, the game is amazingly very satisfying game to play. But oh boy, I have some very, very challenging and very frustrating moments playing this game. So after I played Elden Ring, I went in reverse. I didn't care about new games. I cared about all these amazing games that I actually missed. One of them, for example, was Bloodborne. Such a highly, highly praised game that I just told myself I would never play it. I did. And I have to say, it wasn't hard for me, I mean, on the hard level compared to what people were saying about this game at the time. It was very, well, accessible to me because I was already kind of familiar with Souls game in general. If it was something maybe like my first Souls game, it would be a completely different experience for sure. Of course, I didn't like the 30 FPS, but it didn't prevent me from actually enjoying the game. And then we realized such an amazing game that I actually missed because I was always kind of not into playing difficult games. This is why I'm saying for those of you who are actually not playing these games, well, I can definitely understand for a certain point of view why people are not playing the game. Like you come home, you want to just have fun playing a game, you don't want to get frustrated and spend countless hours just to try to finish a certain boss, which might for some take even days. I mean, you have job, you have kids to take care of. I mean, some people come home and all they want is just to have fun. And once you put them such a big challenge, like playing maybe against a very tough boss fight, it might take them even several weeks until they were able to finish it. So when it comes, even for me, by the way, when it comes to Souls games, some of them I need to be in a certain situation where I'm, open for actually playing them, where I have enough, spare time, where I'm mentally kind of ready for that. Sometimes I don't want to play one Souls game after another. So sometimes I just need to chill. I can play, for example, Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I can tell you that actually the contrast when you play a very challenging game and move to a less challenging game, there's something about this, again, also vice versa, that you move between them that actually make you enjoy each one even more. Like you crave the challenge and you also crave the chill after a challenge. There's something about it. So the timing for playing them is also important. Sometimes you be in a good state of mind, right? If you're very stressed or anything else, some of these games can just, cause you to be even more stressed. And if you cannot contain it, this can be problematic, and definitely it can be a situation where you actually be more frustrated than actually, when it comes to ratio, than actually enjoying the time you actually play a game. But I think also when you play lots of these games, you also, in terms of mentality, you kind of adjust to it, so you don't get as frustrated as it was in the first time. I mean, of course, it will be involved frustration. This is also part of the experience, because otherwise you won't get that really great satisfaction being able to complete the challenge, just shout, out loud, wow, you were able to actually finish it. It feels great. And of course, many of these games, it will also feel very rewarding. And I think lately I've seen that, again, Elden Ring, I think, was one of the games that actually changed a lot when it comes to Souls game, that gave players many ways to actually tackle challenge because of the open world design. Players can just, for example, just go and farm other location. Maybe they're going to find a loot that will be very beneficial for them against a certain boss. They can practice. It's not linear. They're not stuck into a certain boss that maybe they can't finish and just getting very frustrated and they can't do anything else to level up or improve themselves to become more powerful. So I think Elden Ring, actually, because the way it's designed, even again, that's why it worked for me so well. It was made to be more accessible to those who haven't played Souls game before. This is why when people ask me what Souls game I recommend them playing, I will tell them Elden Ring, because there are so many ways you can actually approach things. Even there's lots of space also in many certain bosses, so you're not kind of stuck in a very tight arena where you can get cornered and get demolished very fast if you don't perform well. And yeah, I consider these some of the Souls game and other games to be among the best that I play. Like Elden Ring is my first most favorite game of all time right now. But of course, there are many other games that I play that I enjoy, like Stellaris, for example, Team Fortress 2, the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, The Last of Us, Hearthstone, Half-Life 2, Diablo, Battlefield 3, was my favorite shooter, The Sims, XCOM, StarCraft, Doom. I play everything. Borderlands 2 I really enjoyed, Animal Crossing New Horizons, SimCity, Fallout, even King Quest I replayed again. Yeah, the classic game. And many VR games like Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Oh my god, what a beautiful and amazing game. I also play Paragon, for example, the MOBA game, Legend of Zelda games I replay after, which I actually, those type of games I haven't played a lot before. So A Link to the Past I really enjoyed. I even play Gauntlet, the classic game. other games like Ratchet and Clank and Final Fantasy, Rocket League, Wonder Boy, Overwatch, Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty, Bubble, Sentinel. I play so many type of games. So when I'm saying that, this is something that I want to share because I want to in some way inspire others who are not, who were like me before, and they might be missing some really amazing games, and they tell themselves, well, they really want to play that game, like for example Elden Ring or maybe Bloodborne, but there's this thing when it comes to difficulty that you're just afraid of even trying. For me, it was kind of like a phobia, something that I always was scared of. It was always like, I want to play this game, but I just can't. Why are they making this game so hard? What's the problem? Just put in easy mode. Just let everybody enjoy the game. I mean, easy mode, I mean like a difficulty slider, and an option to reduce the difficulty in general. Well, the one thing I want to add that there are adding things like that kind of embedded in the game. Like for example, you can play in a mimic with Elden Ring, which actually makes some of the fights actually very trivial. Or you can just play it more and basically get level up more, and then things become much easier. And there are also ways, just learning, just checking guides and checking which vulnerabilities are for the enemies when it comes to elemental damage, for example, which can do much more damage if you have the right build. So it's not like there aren't any option to become very strong in this game. There are, if you're willing to spend time maybe reading about it, discovering it, spend more time actually leveling up and so on. There are ways to make these games much easier, in fact. Just so you know, some of them. And of course, aside from being just feeling great, being able to achieve this yourself, it's really fun seeing how other people actually taking these challenges as well. So this is why when it comes to community, you see things like, for example, Let Me Solo Her, and it's very popular YouTube channels that are all about people are really good in playing this game. Playing these games, and it's just fun to watch because again, you see yourself how you challenge a certain boss and how you succeed or wasn't successful. And also people also search, by the way, to see how people finish them, to be able to finish them with a certain strategy themselves. So it creates kind of a community, something special about it. It's outside of the game because many of the games aren't co-op, but some of them are. By the way, one option to play and succeed, and if you're having a challenge, is to actually playing with others. Some of the games do support cooperative play. So this is kind of a way to reduce the difficulty without actually reducing the difficulty artificially. But some of the games will actually increase the difficulty when you're playing with another player, but usually players who know how to play the game can come with some very strong builds, for example, and already know how to play and can just demolish the boss for you. So it's a good option if you want if you're struggling and you still want to play alone and you're having a hard time, to actually play with another player who is good at playing it or a very good gear or a very good build to be able to help you pass through a difficult challenge. But for me, it feels like, kind of cheating in a way. I really enjoy doing it myself because then I know that I'm playing these games, part of it because of the challenge, because it feels so great being able to defeat a very challenging boss. So this is kind of motivation video because I know there are many people out there that are in the same situation like me or getting there, that just want to play so many of these amazing games, so many amazing beautiful characters, boss fight, discovery, exploration. Everything is done in so many of the game almost to perfection, in some of them to perfection, and you're gonna just feel that you're actually missing it. And once you pass this obstacle, there are so many games that you're going to find that you have to play right now that you maybe just going to ignore all the new games, just go back and just play of these games. And by the way, many of them are going to be relatively cheap in price because they released so many years ago. Or at least you're going to find them, like for example, in sales, and you can just buy them when they are and just have them in the library and play them when you're ready. So I hope this got you a bit motivated to at least give it a try. But one big tip for you, don't quit. One thing you can do, and I told myself every single time that thing, trust yourself, even without you need to think about it, that you will get better as you continue playing. It will happen automatically. You're going to learn to adjust. Your brain will learn to adjust, to the difficulty. Although it's not going to be perfect, you're going to learn something each time you actually fail. Eventually, it will just stick in like a language, like a dance. You're going to learn it. So trust yourself that with time, with repetition, you will just get better. That's like the most basic thing I can tell you, that just believe in yourself. And hopefully this will open up a whole new world of gaming experiences that you, until now, you might have missed. Thanks for watching.